Last week, if you recall, I had a confession to make, and it dealt with the fact that I needed to confess that I had an innate need to answer the question, why do bad things happen to good people? And it's kind of a heavy topic when you talk about death and dying. I try to do it tongue-in-cheek. So what I decided to do this morning is we're going to lighten it up a whole lot. A whole lot. And so I've come with another confession. I need to confess that from where I stand, from where I sit, from where I live, that being a mother is a tough job. Any mothers want to agree with me on that? And I've also got to confess something else, and the guys aren't going to agree with me perhaps, but I think maybe as guys, as husbands and dads, there have been times where we have taken our mothers for granted. Any mothers want to go with me on that? You can raise your hand, Julie. It's okay. She said she only had 2 hands. Figure that one out. Well, I think that this whole idea of it being a very, very tough job really starts out very early. But it's not at the hospital. It's not even the birth part necessarily. Because you see at the hospital, when you have that new little infant, you've got 700 people taking care of you, don't you, moms? I mean, it is fantastic. Well, the hard part of the job doesn't start there, and it doesn't start necessarily when you get back home, because you know what you normally have when you're at home that first week with that newborn, that sweet little baby? You have, many times, somebody helping you take care of that baby. Maybe you've got a mother, which would be the grandmother, an in-law or whatever. Now, grandmothers have mad baby skills. They do. You can take that small baby, and if you're a grandmother, because you grew up with cloth diapers, and so it's kind of like being at the rodeo. Instead of putting a rope in your mouth, you've got those pins, and all of a sudden you're going, done. It's like calf roping. Watch this. You got nothing. But it doesn't end there. Here's where it gets really, really hard. Here's what gets really hard. Is after that week is finished, and you're thinking, on one hand you may be thinking, I'm glad my in-laws are leaving. On the other hand you may think, oh no. And we got the house to ourselves finally. And you realize, I've never done this before. There's no book they gave me. Now we're on our own. That's when it starts getting really, really hard, because here's what's going to happen, and in just a minute I'm going to let you in on a man's secret that men do not want you to know. So ladies, you'll have to help get me out the back door. But here's where it really gets tough. Mothers, you've been dealing with that small infant all day long. You've been feeding, you've been nursing, you've been changing diapers when there's not much. No, I better not say that about diaper change. And you're doing everything that you know how to do. You are worn out. How can such a small child wear you out? And then your husband comes home. And the next thing you know, what does he do? Plops on the couch. Plops on the couch. Yeah, what's for dinner? That's it. Okay. What's for dinner? And so when all of that's taking place, you're thinking, some way he's going to help me. But here's what happens. 2 o'clock in the morning, that baby starts screaming. You can hear the rash building. You know there needs to be a diaper change, and you're thinking, for the love, will he not help me now? But let me tell you, this is a secret, mothers, that the guys don't want you to know. In man school, they teach us how to fake it. We go through training where you could take an ice pick and jab us in the back, and we're not going to move. We're going to fake like we're asleep. Surely he hears this. How does he not hit me? Let me show you. Guys, how many have faked being asleep and didn't do a diaper change? That's what I thought. Y'all all good for nothing. See, my hand's still up, right? So I did it more than once. Oh, my wife's here. Being a mother is a tough job. If you don't believe that, I've got video proof. Watch this. That is a
stay
mess.
outside. I know you kids have your heart set on bringing the outside indoors. But what about...
What in the world's going on?
You know how when you come home every day and ask me what I did today?
Yeah?
Well, today I didn't do it.
I can't think of any better proof than that. It's a tough job. And so we've come today to celebrate mothers. And so we have a few gifts that we would like to bestow upon you. And so I thought that we might start out with the oldest mother. Now, I'm terrible at numbers. For anybody that was in the 820 service, I muff that left and right. But I will now ask, are there any mothers? And by the way, once a mother, always a mother. So are there any mothers here that fall in this range? Just raise your hand and stay there until it goes down. Any mothers here that are between the ages of 40 and 50? Okay, keep your hands up. Drop them when it goes down. I mean, when you drop out of one of these categories. How about 50 to 60? 60 to 70? $60 to $70. Okay, now let's try. Oh, this is like at an auction. Now, 70 to 80. I think. Oh, we've got two still. Okay, how about 70 to 75? Okay, how about 75 to 80? Okay, how about 80 to 85? Now we've got two. Okay, I'm gonna back down now. How about 84? 83? 82? 81? 80? 79? 78? And you bought it. Could you take that? We've got a nice flower for you. Keep your hand up. Yeah, it looks easy from down there, doesn't it? Okay, now we're going to go with the newest mother, not the youngest, but the newest mother. So we're going to start out, and you just keep your hand raised. Anybody have a child within the last year? That's what I'm making sure. How about 11 months? 10 months? And we have a winner right here. Now we're going to have a drawing for, you just have to wait. I'm going to get to choose for you. This is going to be for, that's a good question. Is it just a gift certificate for whatever they want? Okay, we're going for a pedicure here because I actually could read that part of it on that one. I'm sure the other's easy to read. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Jody if he might come up here and draw, and then if you don't win it, you can be mad at him. I had nothing to do with it. For a pedicure. All right. About that one. Who have you got? Let's see. Tammy Cochran. Where are you? Okay, yes, we'll bring it to you since you're in the middle. How about that? Not bad, huh? Well, I've got another confession to make as we continue on. I've got to confess this, that if you go throughout the Bible, look anywhere in the Bible, what you're going to find, this should cause you to gasp, there is no festival for Mother's Day. Yes, yes. I know across America right now, Mother's Day is being celebrated, but you're not going to find it anywhere in the Bible. In fact, you're not going to find it in the Christian calendar. Did you know we have a Christian calendar that talks about the seasons of the Christian year, like Lent, Advent, Christmas, Easter, Easter time, and goes on and on? Look there, you'll not find it. Say, Tony, what about the book of the law? What if we went to the first 5 books, which is called the Pentateuch, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, or Deuteronomy? Would we find it there? No, nada. Hey, what about Leviticus, though? Leviticus talks a whole lot about all these festivals. Surely there's a Mother's Day festival in there somewhere. Nope, nowhere to be found. Mother's Day is not in Scripture in the way that we celebrate it. But while there's no mandate for a Mother's Day, we know that the Bible is full of both good mothers and bad mothers throughout Scripture. And the Scripture passage I want to look at today, there's no need to even look it up, it's going to be short, is from Genesis 3:16a. Now, just in case you don't know, when we mention A, B, C, or D, that means that there could be multiple sentences within 16. So if I tell you 3:16a, that tells you there's at least 2 sentences in that scripture. There could be more. But we're just going to look at 3:16a, and it says this: I will greatly increase your pains in childbearing. With pain, you will give birth to children. Mothers, can you resonate with that? There will be pain in childbirth from there on. And so you can see the job's going to be tough right off the bat. Right off the bat. Now, Kevin over here, he just pounded me this week, wanting me to read the rest of that verse. I don't know what's up with that. Lauren, I don't know, but it says this. Y'all can figure it out for yourself. He wanted me to continue with that verse. It says, your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you. No, he didn't say that. So it seems from this verse that being a mother is a very tough job, and we've come to celebrate that. In Scripture, right off the bat, when that birth takes place, from where I was that day, it looked really painful to me. And that's when it starts. In Scripture, it was no different. That's the way it started with Eve. But then you come to Cain and Abel. You want to talk about one of the most dysfunctional families of all time? You think your kids argue? Well, Cain and Abel decide to argue one day to the point that one of them kills the other. Now, you want to talk about a tough job, being a mother in that situation? And then you think about people like Sarah, who has a child at 90 years old. 90. So all you young mothers, quit your whining. Don't tell it to Sarah. 90 years old, she's doing all that stuff. And then one of the greatest stories of all time, I think, of an interesting mother situation. Do you remember the time that Jesus was being carried on a trip with Mary and Joseph, and they're at the temple, and while they're at the temple, they're having a great time and everything, and they leave the town, and all of a sudden, you can hear the story start. I mean, this is my interpretation of it. I hear Mary saying, Joseph, and of course, being Joseph and her the mother of, the Son of God, yes, dear, because that's the way you would do it, right? To the mother of the Son of God. Do you know where Jesus is? Yeah, this is a good guy answer. Yeah, I thought he was with you. No, Joseph, he's not with me. And so then I picture her opening up the book of blame to the chapter entitled Joseph and getting all over him about it. You're supposed to look after him. And then all of a sudden, I think Mary starts to realize she has more than one child. She now has Jesus and Joseph. Mothers, have you ever had to feel like you're a mother to your husband? Raise them high. Be proud on that one. Be proud. Not that proud. They can see you. Stand up. So you have to understand that being a mother is tough, but it's been happening throughout Scripture. It's nothing new. And so today we've come to honor you. It's a big deal. It's a big deal to be a mother because mothers teach us so much. In fact, I read an article this week that told about all the things that mothers teach us. They teach us about foresight when they tell us, make sure you wear clean underwear in case you're in an accident. That's foresight, looking into the future like that. For some reason, I've got to tell you a story. It's not in here. But just so you know, guys, I was a chaplain and I was in the ER. It doesn't matter what you're wearing, they cut it all off of you. Mothers teach us about logic. If you fall out of that tree and break your neck, don't come crying to me. Mothers teach us about maturity. Eat your vegetables or you'll never grow up. Mothers teach us about religion. You better pray that comes out of the carpet. I thought this was interesting. I didn't realize it, but this is right. Mothers teach us about time travel. Time travel. If you don't straighten up, I'm going to knock you back into the middle of next week. Okay. Mothers teach us about contradictions. Shut your mouth and eat your dinner. Think about it. Mothers, and listen to this. I don't know if this is a good one. I never realized that my mother taught me this, but she did, about contortionism. Contortionism. When she says, will you look at the dirt on the back of your neck? Now, how are you going to do that? Mothers teach us about perseverance. You're going to sit there until you eat every last piece of that broccoli. Mothers teach us about genetics. You're just like your father. Mothers teach us about the weather. It looks like a tornado came through your room. And mothers teach us about the circle of life. I brought you into this world and I can take you out. You see, it's a tough job. It's a tough job being a mother. And so we've come here today to celebrate you. And as guys, as dads, we usually, whether you know it or not, while your wife isn't your mother, I mean, that's granted, it's still customary to give them a gift. So as your pastor, I want to help you out this Mother's Day. I hope it's not too late. But I wanted to give you some suggestions, and if you'll just follow these rules, you'll come out smelling like a rose. You will. First of all, don't ask her what she wants for Mother's Day. You should already know. I did it this week. Anybody with me? Anybody asked her? Okay, I want to see some hands. I got to see some. I got to show me the love right here, please. All right, thank you, sir. Don't buy anything that plugs in. Anything that requires electricity is seen as utilitarian. Don't buy clothing that involves sizes. The chances are 1 in 7,000 that you'll get her size right, and your wife will be offended by the other 6,999 times. Do I look like a size 20? She'll say. Or too small a size doesn't cut it either. I haven't worn a size 6 in 20 years. Do you not pay attention to me? Avoid all things useful. I don't even think I have to read the rest of that one. Number 4, don't buy anything that involves weight loss or self-improvement. She'll perceive a 6-month membership to a diet center as a suggestion that she's overweight. Now this is, guys, this one. If you don't hear any of the others, listen to this one. Don't buy jewelry. The jewelry your wife wants, you can't afford. And the jewelry you can afford, she doesn't want. And guys, do not fall into the trap, the traditional trap of buying her frilly underwear. Your idea of the kind your wife should wear and what she actually wears are light years apart. You see, men, you're thinking Victoria's Secret. She's thinking Moo Moo. Finally, don't spend too much. How do you think we can afford that, she'll say. But don't spend too little or you'll find her saying, is that all you think I'm worth? You got it. You got it. So now that I have your attention, I want to read a wonderful story. It's called The Invisible Mother. It all began to make sense. The blank stares, the lack of response, the way one of the kids will walk into the room while I'm on the phone and ask to be taken to the store. Inside I'm thinking, can't you see I'm on the phone? Obviously not. No one can see me if I'm on the phone, or cooking, or sweeping the floor, or even standing on my head in the corner. because no one can see me at all. I'm invisible. The invisible mom. Some days I am only a pair of hands, nothing more. Can you fix this? Can you tie this? Can you open this? Some days I'm not a pair of hands. I'm not even a human being. I'm a clock to ask what time is it. I'm a cable guide to answer what number is the Disney Channel. I'm a car to order. Can you pick me up around 5:30, please? I was certain that these were the hands that once held books and the eyes that studied history and the mind that graduated summa cum laude, but now they had disappeared into the peanut butter, never to be seen again. One night, a group of us were having dinner, celebrating the return of a friend from England. Janice had just gotten back from a fabulous trip, and she was going on and on about the hotel she stayed in. I was sitting there looking around at the others, all put together so well. It was hard not to compare and feel sorry for myself. I was feeling pretty pathetic. Janice turned to me all of a sudden with a beautifully wrapped package and said, "I brought this for you." It was a book on the great cathedrals of Europe. I wasn't exactly sure why she'd given it to me until I read her inscription. To Charlotte, with admiration for the greatness of what you are building when no one sees. In the days ahead, I would read, devour the book, and I would discover what would become for me 4 life-changing truths, after which I could pattern my work. No one can say who built the great cathedrals. We have no record of their names. These builders gave their whole lives for a work they would never see finished. They made great sacrifices and expected no credit. The passion of their building was fueled by their faith that the eyes of God saw everything. A legendary story in the book told of a rich man who came to visit the cathedral while it was being built, and he saw a workman carving a tiny bird on the inside of a beam. He was puzzled and asked the man, "Why are you spending so much time carving that bird into a beam that will be covered by the roof? No one will ever see it." The workman replied, "Because God sees." I closed the book, feeling the missing piece fall into place. It was almost as if I heard God whispering to me, "I see you, Charlotte. I see the sacrifices you make every day when no one around you does. No act of kindness you've done, no sequin you've sewn on, no cupcake you've baked is too small for me to notice and smile over. You are building a great cathedral, but you can't see right now what it will become. At times, my invisibility seems like an affliction, but it is not a disease that is erasing my life. It is the cure for the disease of my own self-centeredness. It is the antidote to my strong, stubborn pride. I keep the right perspective when I see myself as a great builder, as one of the people who show up at a job that they'll never see finished, to work on something that their name will never be on. The writer of the book went so far as to say that no cathedrals could ever be built in our lifetime because there are so few people these days willing to sacrifice to that degree. When I really think about it, I don't want my son to tell the friend he's bringing home from college for Thanksgiving, "My mom gets up at 4 in the morning and bakes homemade pies, and then she hand-bastes the turkey for 3 hours and presses the linens for the table." That would mean I'd built a shrine, a monument to myself. I just want him to want to come home. And then, if there's anything more to say to his friend, that he might add, "You're going to love it there." As mothers, we are building great cathedrals. We cannot be seen if we're doing it right. And one day, it is very possible that the world will marvel not only at what we've built, but at the beauty that has been added to the world by the sacrifices of invisible women. We know it's a tough job, but job well done, mothers, as we celebrate you on this Mother's Day.
Toys are scattered. Laundry never ends. You've wrecked the house. It's tiring. Yet here I am. I never tire of watching your little face as you sleep. So peaceful. Your eyes wander, Your fingers twitch. Your leg moves. Are you running in your dreams? Are you playing in the ocean? Or walking across green pastures? I wonder, how is it that I can be so tired, so confused? Sometimes it even hurts, but still, I feel breathless over you. I'm scared, but courageous. Torn, but resolute. It's terrifying because your heart, your hopes, your dreams, they're all on the line, and I'm responsible. Yet I have so much strength in me. I have love for you given to me by God, and it makes me stronger than anything you can imagine. You have no idea. Because of you, I don't get to rest. Not when I'm sick, not when I'm tired, but you are worth every mess. You are worth every sleepless night, every ache, every tear, because you are the reason I laugh. You are the reason my heart soars with delight. You are the reason I possess this love. You give me so much life. And you know what? Before I was called mother, I never knew such bliss.